Hi, I'm Stephen, one of the careers advisors at the Careers Service. And today, in this hopefully short video, I'm going to try and give you a few starting points for you if you feel a wee bit clueless career-wise and can't think of many ideas of what you might want to do. It's a very common position to be in. Often students say to me, well, I haven't been to see you before, Stephen, because I haven't had a clue what I wanted to do. And my response is always, well, that's why we're here. We're here to help people who don't have a clue career-wise. It's a very normal thing, a normal situation to be in. And most people start with the question like, what can I do with my degree, whether it's chemistry or geography or whatever. And that's okay, but you limit yourself in a wee bit to what other people have done who've had your degree in the past, and you're looking at other people's decisions. I think it's better to look at, well, what is actually going to be right for me? So you're not just your degree, you're actually your own person as well. So here's a wee model to help us to think about that in a bit more systematic way. So to make good career decisions, I think you need a couple of bits of knowledge. You certainly need knowledge about yourself. Who am I? Self-awareness. It's good to take time to think about this. What kind of questions are in this part? Well, what skills do I have? Do I like using? What skills do I have? What kind of personality do I have? What kind of work balance do I want once I'm in work? And what kind of things do I want to do outside work when I'm working? Will my job give me the chance to do these things? In other words, what do I want my life to look like in the future? And it's really good to be able to reflect on those kind of things. If you've done any reflective writing in your course or reflective work, that can be really useful to look back on and check these things out. So self-awareness is important, and I'll talk a wee bit more about this in a minute. Then also what you need to do, you need to then compare that with the opportunities that might be out there for you. So if you're not really too clued up on the jobs and what they offer, then you really need to get informed about that. So you need to look at all your opportunities, potential opportunities, and think about questions like, what skills and how much of them does the job require? Does the job use? What are the working conditions for the job? What are the typical hours and pay? How important are these to you? Would I maybe need to do postgraduate study to get that opportunity? And is that a barrier for me, or is that something that I'd be able to do? So you need to really think about these things in some depth. And again, don't worry if you've never done this before. I'm going to give you some tools to do that later. So once you're aware of yourself, once you're aware of the opportunities, then the next thing is to compare those and make the best match to make decisions. So again, think about what jobs or careers would allow you to use the skills you want to use and you enjoy using. How might your personality type affect how much you enjoy the job? If you need to do further study, is that feasible actually for you? And will the job allow you to do what you want when you're not at work? Is it going to give you that work-life balance that you want so that your life is a happy one and a fulfilled one? So then once you've made some decisions and you know the kind of areas that you want to go for, then the next stage is taking action. And by this I mean things like CVs, application forms, interview techniques, assessment centres, all of that, but also questions like whether or not you need to maybe gain some experience before you can get that job. You might want to do some networking to talk to people doing that job, send out contacts, make contacts with people, that kind of thing. And that's important to think about that and make sure that you're doing all those things well. And again, we can help you with that as well, with CVs, interviews, and how to network effectively as well. And you'll see then that last arrow goes right back to the beginning again. And that's because this process really shouldn't stop throughout your working life. With every experience in life, you maybe change slightly, your desires, your skill level change, and that might mean that your opportunities change as well. So you should always be reflecting as you go through life and taking up new opportunities. There's a really cheesy phrase that's sometimes used, your career is a journey, not a destination. And I think that kind of sums it up in this process. So you don't actually, it's not a holy grail you're going for immediately you leave university. It's more of, let's take the next step, let's make it the right one and see where we go from there. Okay, now what I'm going to do now is just show you a web page which will again just show you what I mean. So this is the Career Service website, but hopefully you're all familiar with that. And if you click on Careers Guidance, it will take you to this page here, and I'm going to click on Making Decisions. So again, if you're clueless, this helps you to make decisions. So it kind of follows the process that we've just been through in a more linear style. So here's the making decisions page. Know yourself, know your options, make decisions, and take action. So it's very similar to the model I've just described. So first of all, I'd like to draw your attention to point 2 in know yourself. What things interest you and motivate you? What about your personality type? So this takes you through to this website here, Young Typology Test, and it's really quite a simple test. If you just take the test, you have to answer questions like you're almost never late for your appointments, you like to be engaged in an active and fast-paced job, and all you have to do is think, well, yes, definitely, yes, uncertain, no, I don't want that, I definitely don't want that. So if you can answer questions like that, it will then generate a report, and it will imply that you're one of these 16 personality types. So let's just look at one of them. For example, there's let's see, ISTJ. So if the report says that you're an ISTJ, then you can read a big description of what that means and so on. There's also a link here to career choices. Now, a word of warning with this, it's very limited, just a very few ideas, so I wouldn't make your career choice based purely on what a personality questionnaire tells you, but it is a really useful thing to do. It can help you to decide whether or not a job is likely to meet your desires for maybe working in teams or being up front, that kind of thing. But as I said, I wouldn't just go by that in terms of job choice. Another useful link on the page is down here where it says make decisions, matching what's available with what you have to offer. And there's a shortcut here to my Prospects Career Planner, which is a computer program which helps you to really go through the whole process that I've described very quickly. Prospects Planner allows you to just answer 4 modules of questions. First steps, for example, able to solve problems, and you rate yourself on a sliding scale. This is my profile, so I've said that I'm sort of good at solving problems. Some people that I work with might disagree, but I think I am. Able to present numerical information, I'm good at that, and so on. You answer these 4 banks of questions: first steps, skills, motivations, desires. And then what the computer does, it then matches your profiles against a list of nearly 400 jobs and gives you a matching list in order of closeness of match. So here's mine, one I've done earlier. Now, I have not cheated, I promise you, but the top job for me is Higher Education Careers Advisor, which is quite comforting. So what you can do, you can look at each job as I'm doing, and you can see at a glance how well it matches your 4 question modules. So first steps, 92%, and so on. You can also find out more about the job as well. If you're really, really keen, you can actually see why the match is good, how the match is close with your profile. So problem solving for me, it's the same, and so on. You can actually drill down into each profile and see how close the match is. Okay, find out more about each job. So there's Higher Education Careers Advisor. You can find out about the job, salary and conditions. Entry requirements is really important. You can find out whether you need to go and do further study. You can also look at some of the soft skills that the job requires as well. So for example, careers advisor, need to be excellent written, oral communication, interpersonal skills, and so on. You can have a look at that and decide whether that seems to, suit you or not. Now, going back to the beginning of this, what I would say is that it might seem a bit unwieldy to have a list of 394 jobs. And that's true, but it is a really good starting point. Remember, at every point in this process, you can talk to a careers advisor about this. So while it's great if you go through this process before you speak to us, it's not a worry to us if you do this and then feel a bit confused about the length of the list. We can certainly help you to drill down and cut this list down. But I'll give you a few pointers just now on how to do that. It's important that if there's any jobs there that you think are just nonsense for you, that you'd never want to do. For me, for example, on this list, let me see, general practice doctor, something I could never do because I'd have to go back to university for 5 years, and that's not really an option for me. So I can simply remove that from the list like that, and it will be removed. I can put it back later, so don't worry about doing something that's irreversible. It's not true. You can do that later. So I've removed that. Some jobs, and you can go through the list, you can actually lock them and make them at the top of the list. So for example, I might start to drill through these jobs. Now go through, there's 11 to 20. There's psychotherapist. I might think, you know, I'd really like to do that. Lock that. And then it goes, if I go back to number 1, you'll see that psychotherapist is locked at the top. So you can lock up to 5 jobs. So my advice is to go through these. Any jobs that you're remotely interested in finding out more about, click on them, read about them. If you're really interested, lock them, and try and maybe get a list of 5 jobs up there if you can, that you would want to lock and look into more. If you want more than 5, simply write them down on a piece of paper or make a note of them somewhere, and that's your list, your working list, that you can then refine as you find out more about these jobs. And it's great to bring that shortened list with you to see a careers advisor, and we can go through the whole process. We can look at your personality with you, we can look at how you've answered all these profile questions, and look at your list of jobs and try and help you to decide what are the most important factors for you, and therefore the jobs that are most suitable for you. So I've tried to be brief today. It's quite difficult to go through all of that, but hopefully that's been helpful for you. So hopefully what I've said to you is that what you picked up from this is that even if you're clueless, if you have no idea about a job, there are tools there to help you. There's personality questionnaires, there's Prospects Planner, there's also other links there, like as well as Prospects Planner, there's target jobs there as well, which is also excellent, but I don't have time to show you that today. Lots of help for you to get yourself clued up a wee bit. And of course, it's a really good idea to bring those to a careers advisor and talk about things in more depth. That's all. I hope you've enjoyed that, got something out of that. More importantly, I hope you now feel as if, even if you're clueless, you're not really clueless. There's lots of things you can do to get yourself on the road. Okay, thanks a lot.